Hello, Cent Warriors. Loans can be too expensive to pay, mainly because of the high interest lenders charge. As a result, it's often hard to get out of debt. However, with the Avalanche method of paying off debt, you can clear your debt and live debt-free. The Avalanche method saves you money in the form of high interest, as you can pay off high-interest loans first. The biggest issue, however, is that this method can take a long time and lacks the motivation if you want to attain quick wins. It's also worth noting that the Avalanche method isn't for everyone. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It may work for some people and not for others. If you belong to the latter group, you may need to consider its alternatives. I recommend the debt snowball method. Here I will explain more about the Avalanche method and how you can use it to pay off your debt quickly. Before we continue, Cent Warriors, please support us in our goal for the next few months to reach 50,000 subscribers. We want our tribe to keep growing. Please help us by subscribing and liking the video, since this helps YouTube recommend our content more. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Also, be sure to check out the description below this video for more details on how to apply the Avalanche debt clearance method step by step. Please stay tuned because this is where the video gets exciting. Here we go. Now, what is the debt avalanche method? Debt avalanche is a debt payment method that focuses on paying debt with the highest interest rate first. You organize all your non-mortgage debt from the one with the highest interest to the one with the smallest interest without looking at their balances. Overall, Debt Avalanche's goal is to help you save on interest as you pay less interest. However, that doesn't mean it's the cheaper way to pay the loans, as you may end up paying the loans with the highest balance last, which won't be cheap. So, how can you use this method to pay your debts? Typically, you can pay off debt quickly using the Avalanche method by following these 6 steps. Step 1. List all your non-mortgage debt. While ignoring the debt balance, list all your non-mortgage debt from the one with the highest interest to the one with the least. Speaking of non-mortgage debt, we are all talking of every other debt other than the mortgage. That includes the following: student loans, credit card debt, personal loans, medical bills, car loans. Remember to list the amount you owe, the interest, the minimum monthly payment, and the issuer. Step 2. Budget for the debt payoffs. Since your goal is to pay off your debt, you must budget for it. A budget helps you properly plan for your money and prioritize the most critical payments, including debt payoffs. Step 3. Make minimum payments. Make minimum payments on all your outstanding non-mortgage debts except the one with the highest interest. You'll handle that in the next step. Step 4. Tackle the highest interest debt with vengeance. Your goal is to pay off the highest interest debt as soon as possible. So, you've got to attack it with vengeance. You'll need to free some money or make some on the side to do it. Here are some ideas to help you get some extra cash that you can use to attack your debt. Use any bonuses, cash gifts, and salary raises to pay the debt. Work overtime to earn extra income and use it to pay your debt. Sell something you no longer need or can do without, and use the money to pay your debt. Start a side hustle, such as a small business, to earn some extra income which you can use for debt payoffs. Become an online freelancer and allocate some of the payments for debt payment. Pause investing and use the money to pay your debt. Step 5. Move to the next highest interest debt. Once you pay off the first highest interest debt, tackle the next one. The approach is similar to the first one. You start by paying off the minimum balances and then channel all your financial effort to clearing the highest interest debt. Step 6. Continue paying your debts until the last. You stop paying your debt when you have none left. Using the above tips, continue attacking the next highest interest debt until there is no more debt. Here's a debt avalanche method example. Let's consider a scenario where you have the following debts: $5,000 student loan at 5% interest, $10,000 credit card loan at 18% interest, $10,000 personal loan at 14% interest. $20,000 US medical bills at 15% interest. If that's the case, here's how to go about paying your debt using the Avalanche method. First, list your debt from the one with the highest interest to the one with the lowest interest, as shown below. 1. Credit card debt with a debt balance of $10,000 US, minimum payment of $100 US at 18% interest. 2. Medical bills with a debt balance of $20,000 US, minimum payment of $200 US at 15% interest. 3. Personal loans with a debt balance of $10,000 US, minimum payment of $100 US at 14% interest. 4. Student loans with a debt balance of $5,000 US, minimum payment of $50 US at 5% interest. 5. Car loan with a debt balance of $2,500 US, minimum payment of $25 US at 4% interest. Total debt is $47,500 US with a minimum monthly payment of $475 US. Now, pay the minimum monthly payment for all debts apart from credit card debt. Pay the minimum monthly payment, that is $100 US, for credit card debt, and then attack the debt balance, that is $10,000 US, with a vengeance. Depending on how much money you have, this may take you 1 or several months. Once the credit card debt is no longer present, pay the minimum monthly payment for all the other debts except medical bills. Attack medical debt with a vengeance, similar to how you did with credit card debt. Continue attacking the highest interest debt with a vengeance as you make minimum payments for the rest until you clear all your debt. The debt avalanche has its fair share of advantages and concerns. Let's highlight them briefly. Here are the pros of using the Avalanche method of paying debt. Saves on interest. Since you focus first on the debt with the highest interest and continue with the trend until you pay the last debt, you save on interest payments in the long run. Debt avalanche generally allows you to pay your most expensive debt, in terms of interest, first, and that's important when you have multiple debts. Ideal for multiple debts with varying interest rates. In case you are dealing with different types of debts with varying interest rates, debt avalanche may be a good option. Of course, it's not the only debt reduction strategy, but it can help you tackle multiple debts progressively. The disadvantages of using the avalanche method include the following. Takes longer. Frankly, it takes longer to get out of debt using the avalanche method. In most cases, the highest interest debt is often the most considerable balance, which takes time to pay. So, it may be a while before you can clear the first debt. You generally need patience to pay your debt using debt avalanche successfully. Lack of motivation. Since clearing one debt using the avalanche method takes time, it becomes easy to lose motivation to continue paying your debt. That's unlike the debt snowball method, which we shall review. Requires minimum payments. Well, as much as you'll be tackling the debt with the highest interest with a vengeance, you also have to pay the minimum balance for the rest. That means you need regular income to keep up with the debt payment. The debt avalanche and debt snowball are arguably two of the most popular debt reduction strategies. Even though these two debt payment strategies differ, some people confuse them. Here's how the two compare. Working principle. Debt snowball requires you to pay your non-mortgage debt from the one with the smallest balance to the one with the highest, regardless of the standing interest rate. On the other hand, debt avalanche requires you to pay your debt from the one with the highest interest to the one with the least. In debt avalanche, you make minimum payments for all your debt except for the one with the highest interest, which you attack with a vengeance until you clear it. Debt snowball also requires you to pay the minimum balance for all your non-mortgage debt except one, the one with the lowest balance. You must also attack the debt with the lowest balance with a vengeance. Time and motivation. The fact that debt snowball requires you to pay your non-mortgage debt from the one with the lowest balance means you clear it quicker. The small wins turn into motivation. You become more pumped up to tackle the next smallest debt and the next one until you are no longer in debt. Sadly, you have no advantage when paying your debt using Debt Avalanche. With Debt Avalanche, it takes time to clear the first debt as it's often an option with a larger balance. Since the wins take time, it's easy to be demotivated. You need patience to continue paying your debt using Debt Avalanche, which most of us don't have. Saving on interest. In terms of interest, Debt Avalanche saves you from paying a huge interest since you pay your most expensive debt first. Debt Snowball doesn't do that. You may pay more in terms of interest if the highest interest debts have the largest balance. But again, since you get to celebrate smaller wins, which may fuel you to tackle more enormous debts and get out of debt quicker, you'll still save on interest. Suitability. Debt Avalanche and Debt Snowball are best suited to individuals with multiple loans. They are also ideal when you have a more regular income, which you can use to pay the minimum monthly balances. The difference is that Debt Avalanche is ideal when the difference between the interest rates is vast. On the other hand, Debt Snowball is best when the difference between the interest rates is slight. Now click the link in the description below to check out how to implement the Avalanche debt clearance method. See you in the next video.